What is up everyone, Guzzlord has arrived to raids and will be here for the next 2 weeks. It's a Dragon and Dark type Pokemon with an extremely high HP stat and low defense and attack. So in the Master League or for raids, it's not gonna be very useful. But for Great and for Ultra League, it's looking pretty good. In order to get one into the Great League, you're gonna have to trade, preferably with a low level friend, so your probability of getting one below 1500 CP are the highest. Luckily, the chances of you getting one aren't that low, especially when you're trading with a one-heart friend, which is what I did, and I managed to get one into my first trade, which, well, is quite lucky. So we're going to be trying it out today in the Open Great League, in matches versus some members of my Discord, because of course, Open Great League currently isn't available in GBL. But yeah, we're trying it out. 2 different teams today, starting with this Deoxys Licky Guzzlord team, and then after this, I got a Guzzlord double poison team to show. And I can say this thing performed pretty well, and I was quite surprised by its bulk. You know, I've used Wireless quite a bit. It's a very fun Pokemon to use. Guzzlord, same typing, just a little bit bulkier, and that is quite noticeable in some of these battles. This game, I led my Deoxys into a Skuntank, which wasn't ideal, but I was able to get rid of that Skuntank with my Lickitung. They brought out Swampert now, which is actually a decent matchup for Guzzlord too, but I'm expecting this to be a classic Skuntank Swampert Trevenant team, which is quite common, and in that case, I really need to save the Guzz for the Trevenant that I'm expecting. A fire of another Psycho Boost versus this Swampert. If it is a Trevenant like I'm expecting, Guzzlord is gonna destroy it, by the way. This Guzzlord is one of the hardest answers to Trevenant, falling right after Noctowl and Pidgeot probably. Pidgeot like double resist everything. Guzzlord only single resists, but still, like, it's so tanky. It's so tanky. Like, this Seed Bomb is gonna do nothing, even though it's only single resisted. Does nothing. We're gonna farm it down. Look at this thing, by the way. It is massive. It is massive. It is menacing. Oh my god, it's such a cool Pokemon. Let me take out the Trevenant, and now we should be able to Brutal Swing the Swampert for the kill as well. About Moveset, by the way, I'm just running the standard Moveset. Actually, I think Preview Poke recommends Crunch. I personally prefer Brutal Swing. I feel like it's a little more consistent. Crunch could be nice to get up a potential debuff, of course, but Brutal Swing is a little bit cheaper, and you get to 2 of them in 9 Dragon Tails, where with Crunch you will get to 2 in 10. So I think I prefer Brutal Swing, but Crunch could definitely be a play as well. And for some extra coverage, you could even go with Sludge Bomb, but I feel like in the general meta, this moveset is just better. But in a meta with more fairies, Sludge Bomb could be a nice surprise. Next match, I lead Deoxys into Kofibrigas. Extremely bad. I switch in Lickitung, which is my pivot in this line, and I switch in Scrafty, which is absolutely terrible for Lickitung. They can just Power Punch once and farm me all the way down now, and if they farm me all the way down, they're even gonna have a foul play loaded for my Deoxys. So this is very bad news, but it is not all bad, because now at least I've lured out the Scrafty, which means that my Guzzlord doesn't have to see it. You see me go for Power Whip here. It does a tiny bit more damage than Body Slam, so if you're only gonna get to 1, throw the Whip. This can be a foul play, but I'm gonna let it go at this point. I'm hoping Guzzlord can sweep. They actually go for the Power Punch though, and because of that, they don't get to the foul play. Actually die with the foul play there, which is amazing for me. My Deoxys is now still quite healthy, though I would have been fine with taking that single boosted foul play as well anyway, because I just want to sweep with the Guzz right now. And in comes Lickitung. It's not looking too bad for Guzzlord at this point. We wall Kofibrigas. Lickitung isn't really that bad, since Licks aren't really doing anything. Guzzlord has an insane HP stat, like an insane HP stat. So it eats these Licks like they're nothing. Look at that. Look at that HP bar go down. You don't even see the singular HPs going down. Normally, if Lickitung is like licking down Deoxys or Azumarill or whatever, something with not that high HP, you can see individual licks. On Guzzlord, you cannot. Nice catcher, by the way. On my Deoxys, just gonna take this slam real quick. And now Kofibrigas comes in. I have a Dragon Claw stored, so all I have to do is either take a shield with Psycho Boost, which I'm probably going to take a shield there, and now I'm going to get to another one. If they throw their energy, I'm just going to get to a Brutal Swing. If they don't throw their energy, I'm going to get to a Psycho Boost, which will put them in range where a Dragon Claw should knock out. Guzzlord actually loses CMP against Kofibrigas, which is kind of wild. Actually, let me check that real quick. It said correct? Oh yeah, it seems to be IV dependent. I actually thought Guzzlord would win CMP, but no, it seems to be pretty IV dependent. Take out the Cavaliers. GG's. Next match, I lead my Deoxys into a Swampert. This is fine with me. Usually with Swampert in the lead, it's Skarmory in the back though. So I kind of need to save my Deoxys for that, which is why I'm just going to Psycho Boost and dip out into my Lickitung. Kind of using the Lickitung as a bullet sponge to take all these Hydros. And then hopefully lure out the Skarmory. Just gonna take another Hydro here. Again, Lickitung, just a bullet sponge. At that point, unfortunately, my recorder crashed. But what happened is the Lickitung took another Hydro, and then the Skarmory farmed down my Lickitung. But I was able to get off a couple body slams onto it, so that's why it's low. I decided to leave this battle in anyway for what's gonna happen next. Guzzlord is gonna put in some work, alright? We're gonna take this what could be a Brave Bird. Actually, I'm going to shield up what could be a Brave Bird and was a Brave Bird. And then we're just going to fully farm down. This Skarmory got a bunch of energy off my Lickitung though, which is why it's going to get to another Sky Attack here. Swampert also has some energy, so I got to be aware of that. I don't think it's a Hydro quite yet though, so I'm going to throw the Psycho Boost immediately, but they bring in a Wall Rain, which is crazy. Not great. I really wish I threw the Thunderbolt first there, but I'm just going to throw it now. Even though I'm double debuffed, it should do enough damage where I put the Wall Rain quite low. And then I should be able to farm this down. They're going to switch up the Icicle Spear there. Switch into my Guzzlord. I'm just going to start farming. I'm going to let this go. Probably an Earthquake, but I want to know how much it does. Guzzlord survives an Earthquake from Shadow Swampert and is able to farm down. And we get to the Brutal Swing versus Walrein. Absolutely insane. This Guzzlord is pretty bad IV as well, by the way. As you could see, it's only 1470 CP. It's pretty bad, and it still ate up that Earthquake. That's huge. Bastiodon lead, pretty good for the Deoxys. So the opponent switches into Sableye, I go into Guzzlord. This is a pretty good matchup for Gus, and I'm used to Zweilous, and I know Zweilous doesn't really take the return that well, so I shielded up. But Guzzlord, apparently looking at the simulations after this, could have just eaten that up. I could have no-shielded this and actually won the matchup still. So probably should have. Return only does like 60%. That's crazy, right? That's actually crazy. So next time I'm gonna just eat it up. But this time I didn't want to take the risk because, you know, I still end up getting out of that matchup with like a ton of energy. Even though this Crafty comes in now, which is pretty bad for Gus, we're still doing a bunch of work for it. Took a shield, brought it into the yellow, almost red now. It's very nice. Now, Lickitung is not that great versus Bastiodon, so I'm actually just going to sacrifice it against this Crafty, since I don't want my Deoxys to take some foul plays here. So we're just going to sacrifice the Lickitung at this point, throw a Body Slam basically right away to either take out this Crafty or take a shield here. Looks like we're taking a shield. At this point, we'll take another pup, and then I'll switch into my Deoxys. I'm not confident I can get to another Body Slam here, because I might die in 3 counters. I'm going to switch in Deoxys, shield up, counter down, and then my Deoxys should be pretty fine versus the Bastiodon. I think Bastiodon is Bastiodon though, and it's freaking insane. These are non-stab counters, so they're not doing that much. Besides that, we get some lag right as I was about to throw the move, which now caused me to overcharge, which isn't great. You know, when everything is looking good, Go Battle League can always take it away, of course. Keep that in mind. Never settle. Never consider a match won, sadly. But yeah, we should still be fine. Deoxys tanks that Stone Edge, but it is honestly absolutely ridiculous how close Bastiodon makes this matchup. It's stupid. But yeah, we took him out. GG's. Now we're on to the next line. Guzzlord, double poison. This is not a lineup I can recommend, by the way. It's pretty bad. But I wanted to try it out. We got 2 Shadow Poisons in the back. And we got a Medi into our Guzzlord, and then a Reggie into the Drape. This is not looking too good, but it might still be playable, as they might also be weak to Nidoqueen in the back, hopefully. Maybe it's a load of Ninetales, so Nidoqueen can sweep. That'd be quite nice. I don't get the drop, and they do get the drop, which is not ideal here. But Drapion should be able to get to another crunch. Don't get the drop again, of course. But this crunch, I think, still knocks out, so we're going to have to use a shield, which is nice. I don't really want to bring the Queen, though. I need to save the Queen for the Medi, so I'm actually going to bring in the Guzz. And we're going to see how much damage a Focus Plus does. It doesn't knock it out, which is crazy. Look at how low HP I am, by the way. But Lock On does nothing. because I have so much HP, lock-ons do nothing. I'm able to get to the Dragon Claw there still, which allows my Nidoqueen to farm down. And then in the back, they have something very weak to Nidoqueen, please. It is a Mandibuzz, which isn't great, but, you know, might actually be playable. Generally, Nidoqueen wins this. So, you know, maybe it can sweep. It's not looking too good, though. It's not looking too good. And this is a good moment to talk about Guzzlord for a second. And one of the issues I have with it, you know, it is ranked 14th in the Great League meta. And I will say it is very good. As we've seen, it has a lot of play. But I think it is a bit overrated for one main reason. And that is its typing just sucks. And it has some very common weaknesses. You know, Guzzlord with its Dragon Dark typing really has to watch out for fairies, fighters, steel types. 3 types that are extremely common in the Open Great League, and 3 types that you cannot really cover for. Oh, and let's not forget ice. 3 typings that you cannot really cover for with a single 1 or 2 Pokemon. So building teams around this thing is incredibly difficult. This team, for example, quite weak to ice. Like, I was gonna say Zweilous. No, Guzzlord, Nidoqueen core, on paper, looks okay. Nidoqueen can deal with the steel types, fighting types, and fairy types Guzzlord struggles with. But a single ice type will take both out. So, yeah, it's very difficult to make a team with this thing, and I think that's what's kind of gonna keep it down. Anyway, this next match, Altaria lead, Guzzlord wins the ones here, because you get the Dragon Claws quicker, and you survive the Dragon Breath to get the 2 of them. It's quite nice. In comes a Skarmory now, pretty bad. That's why I wouldn't recommend this line in particular. Skarmory just sucks. And that's another problem with Guzzlord, Nidoqueen core. Though, actually, Guzzlord versus Skarmory is not too bad, as we're gonna see later. Anyway, we already dropped the Skarmory's defense. I'm just gonna take this Sky Attack. Kind of have some lag there. It's been happening more and more recently. Oh, it happened a bunch in the past as well, where you will get frame drops. But I feel like it hasn't been happening for a while, and now for the past like month or so, it's been extremely common for me and extremely annoying. But yeah, luckily I don't think it mattered there. Just brought in a Lantern. Oh, I did lag a turn there though, which made it so my Dragon Tail didn't register there. If my Dragon Tail had registered there, I would have been able to farm down this Lantern before it took this shield from me. And then I might have had a shot versus Skarmory. Now, definitely not though. Since they took my shield, this Skarmory is just free to get to the Brave Bird and knock me out, I think. Does this knock me out? If it doesn't knock me out, I might have a shot, because then their defense is very debuffed and I might be able to kill it. But no, it knocks me out. GG's. Skarmory lead. Now, this, like I said, is actually not too bad. I think if they go straight Sky Attack here, Guzzlord can actually win the 0 shields. Since you survive a Sky Attack, and you're able to get to two Brutal Swings, which should knock him out. Look, that one already did a good chunk of damage. I go for another one here. This would basically knock him out. Now, they haven't gone for a move yet, of course. But if they no-shield this, I think it would have knocked him out. If not, it would have taken one more Dragon Tail, which I would have gotten. And they're going to throw a Sky Attack now, and it actually does nothing. It actually does nothing. I don't want to get farmed down. I'm definitely not getting to another Brutal Swing, so I switch into my Drapion in order to not get farmed down. I'm just going to shield the Sky Attack. They bring in Diggersby. This is pretty bad. This is really, really bad. This is why I don't like Nidoqueen in the current meta. I popped it on this team since it seemed okay with Guzzlord, but there's just so many Nidoqueen answers. The previous team I faced had like multiple answers. This team has Skarmory, Diggersby. Yikes, that's just not good. Anyway, we're gonna bring Guzzlord after getting off a couple of crunches against his Diggersby. They're gonna throw a Fire Punch. Guzzlord is a tank. We take that easy. We farm down the Diggersby with Nidoqueen. Out comes Skarmory. I'm gonna farm up a little bit. I was gonna go for the Earth Power, but actually switching to Sableye. Again, another Nidoqueen answer. We're going to go for the Poison Fang. Honestly, I'm not expecting the shield. But honestly, my only win condition at this point is hoping they shield. And that I can then Earth Power before they get to the foul play. It's my only win condition. I went for it. Unfortunately, my opponent was smart and didn't shield. Because if they look, if I just threw Earth Power straight away there, they would have survived. And just gotten to the move anyway. And if they get to the move anyway, that's okay with them, because then the Skarmory also has a move loaded. We're still trying though. If my opponent throws a move into my Guzzlord here, as they do, and then I farm down, maybe somehow, but again, my opponent's smart, just switches to Skarmory, uses the energy it has loaded, and that is a good game. Next game, we see him a Cargo lead, super solid for Guzzlord, and I bring out Azumarill to answer that. I decided to bring out Drapion, because most Azumarils these days run Ice Beam Play Rough, which means Drapion won't have to use a shield, but Nidoqueen would have to use a shield in order to get switch here. Luckily, my opponent also doesn't bait here. If they would have farmed up to Hydro Pump, I would have been a bit worried, and I might have actually shielded, so I for sure take switch advantage. But since they already threw 6 wobbles, I knew it was play rough. Safely no shield. Out comes the Magcargo now. I'm just going to go for a Crunch. Wasn't sure if I would survive the Incinerate, so I only go for 1 poison things. I have 2 before throwing my Crunch. Did survive though, which means I'm going to get to another Crunch here. Since I got the drop, it's actually going to knock out the Magcargo. And yeah, Weezing takes me out, but I got Nidoqueen now. Opponent knows it's over, so they concede the match. GG's, not much Guzzlord action there, but Drapion just putting in the work. So yeah, anyway, that was the final battle. Hope you enjoyed. Can definitely recommend you try to get a Guzzlord, even though I don't think it will be amazing top meta in the Open Great League. It is definitely 100% gonna be a force to be reckoned with in limited formats. So try to get someone to trade a couple Guzzlord to you to get a good IV1 for the Great League.